We're back for episode 5 of that Juco Life. This is Jaquan Bowden here, and I am here with Coach Randy Millard, assistant at BMCC. And thank you for coming on the show today. We had to deal with some technical difficulties, but we're back in control. And let's just start off as Randy Millard, the player. Where did you play at high school, and how was that experience like?
I played at South Shore High School. I didn't have one of those spectacular storybook careers, but the one thing I could say is that amongst my peers, I'm very well respected in regards to just knowing the game and just playing the game at a high competitive level. My coach used to always tease me about my leadership skills in my game, and sometimes he wished they would match at times, even though they, coincided. Like I was just at a program where it's not how it is now. Back then. So my head coach Brett Towle, he was a huge inspiration with me now. Thinking back as that hard-headed 16, 17-year-old, just trying to figure things out. Like he really honed my skills as a basketball player and even like a person.
Right.
So my career at South Shore, it wasn't the best. My stats weren't too crazy. I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you I made the Brooklyn All Borough team because it's Google. I'm not gonna say a lie to you. Say I was recruited by Syracuse, Kentucky, and Duke because there's Google. But when it came to basketball, amongst my peers and in my neighborhood, like people knew who I was and people had a profound respect for me.
Respect, because you found a different route to basketball as compared to like many guys who are on the team. Some become players, some become coaches like you. Some have used it to get to where they want to be in life. So you went on to Norfolk State University in Virginia.
Yeah.
To HBCU. I learned about your experience through the Shadow League podcast. Shout out to them.
Kyle Harvey.
Shout out to him.
Brian Summers. Yeah. I went to school with Byron Summers. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. And Kyle attended one of our rival institutions, North Carolina A&T.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know y'all was rivals with A&T. Okay.
Yeah, man. Like we was huge rivals. That whole MEAC conference back then was just full of competition, full of talent. But the thing was, we're historically black college and university. So a lot of the PWIs would frown upon us and, just try to call us in for money games and they could roll over on us. It's some of those money games and games were very competitive.
Yeah, and I've seen games where HBCUs have gone in to beat those PWIs and
Missouri.
Yeah, exactly. It's just oh yes. Shout out to that game. That game was big. Carlo Quinn beating
Queen guy.
Yeah, Missouri was supposed to like really win it all that year. And I mean, I'm not mistaken.
Phil Pressey was giving us fits, man. I remember that game like it was yesterday. I was the president of the New York Metro Norfolk State University Alumni Association. I was the youngest president at that time during my tenure. So we used to just hang out during March Madness, at different bars and restaurants to watch the game. And I remember everybody in the bar was wearing green and gold. It was a bunch of Norfolk State alums, and as some current students who are over the age, of course. But a lot of the individuals and a lot of the patrons in the spot was like, "Yo, I don't see you guys winning." When that buzzing sound, and I see Kylo Quinn and my guy Jamel Futez run at each other, I was like, "Yo, the dream is real. Things happen, man."
Yeah.
Things happen. Jamal Tinsley, when they lost to Hampton.
Yeah, that was a big upset.
That was years ago.
Yeah, long time ago.
That was years ago.
Big upset.
So yeah, man, for real.
Wow. So that journey at HBCU, we do know that many players, especially in this area, they kind of look down to HBCUs. I don't know for what reason, but I was really happy to see a guy like JoJo Anderson from Brooklyn Collegiate. He committed late to Maryland Eastern Shore, had a solid freshman year. Coach Jason Kraft, cool dude. I met him earlier this year at the Real Scout showcase by Nate Blue. He was out
Mm-hmm.
there, so he's a cool guy. So tell me about that experience at Norfolk State as a student. You know, how did that influence you to become a coach, assistant coach at BMCC?
My experience at Norfolk State is a book in itself. I was very active on campus. I was a part of the student government association. I was the events coordinator. So I was one of the guys, helping orchestrate and put together homecomings and different events, town hall meetings for the institution. I was a RA in the dorms.
Okay.
Just interacting, with the student body and just keeping them alert on, how to live and, how to maintain their space. Then as the years progressed, I was on the radio. I had my own radio show when I was down there.
All right.
Then I fell in love with the game even more. I became a student manager under Anthony Evans, who's at Fordham right now, and Coach Dwight Freeman. And in those years, that was when it was Coach Lonnie Blow, who coaches at Virginia State right now. He's a Norfolk guy, so he used to teach me a lot about the game. Anthony Evans, he's from Flatbush, Brooklyn. He's a Bishop Lockton alum. So just interacting with him about being from the neighborhood and just how the game catapulted him,
Right.
into his coaching situation at Norfolk State. But then just interacting with Rob Jones. Rob Jones, he's a Southside Queens guy. I remember being here. We used to joke around back and forth. Oh, I'm from Southside. I'm from Brownsville. And them just embracing me and them just letting me sit inside their offices, just talk basketball with them. And they used to pick my brain. And then I worked in athletics, just being a PA announcer for the basketball games, just interacting with the recruits. Like, I have a funny story for you. We had Scotty Machado on a visit.
Oh, okay.
We had Scotty Machado at a Midnight Madness visit. Scotty Machado was a young guy. He fresh out of St. Benedict's. But him and Rob Jones, are cool. I think he played for Rob at St. Mary's. So I'm interacting with Scotty. I'm like, Scotty, man, like, you could really take this program over. I'm being a student because I'm envisioning me traveling back and forth, going to see the team and seeing Scotty Machado in a Norfolk State University jersey. 2 months later, matter of fact, no, further months down the line, he committed to Iona. I was hurt. I thought we had a chance for Scotty, man. Scotty tough. And every time I see Scotty, he always start laughing at me like, yo, I remember you on the visit, man.
Yeah.
I remember Jamel Futez on his visit. He's actually from my neighborhood. I knew him forever.
Yeah.
A kid named Rasheed King. He's supposed to commit. He passed away of cancer. But just interacting with those recruits on their visit, I was just trying to sell them on the whole family vibe that we had to have to offer. And a lot of the kids signed, especially football players.
Right. It's big. I do remember a few other New Yorkers that went to Norfolk State. Nichrome Okoro, if I'm not
Okoro.
Rutgers originally, then went to you guys.
Yeah.
Jeff Short, who he was a bucket. John F. Kennedy, legend. He was a bucket. He went to Norfolk State after
Rob Hampton.
Rob Hampton,
Christ the King alum. One of the best guards that come out of Norfolk State, in my opinion, is two of them. Is a guy named Tony Murphy. Tony Murphy, he's a Jersey guy. I think he went to Patterson Eastside. He played with players back in the day. I still interact with him to this day. And another kid from Queens, Alik Pauline. Alik had one of the best handles in the conference, in the country that year. Just watching him, just being a point guard, not just on the court, but in the classroom, on campus. He just was him all the time. And I still interact with those guys, man. Kid named Tim Zephyr, Marcos Tavares. Who else we have from New York? It was a bunch of guys. Be Good.
He was a big man from Monroe.
Yeah. Be Good was always cool, but I wasn't there with Be Good. I was there with Alik Pauline, Rob Hampton. He was a red shirt, and then he played the next year after I graduated. We had Ricky Torres. Oh my God, we had Ricky Torres. I was so hyped that we had Ricky Torres.
Right.
I told Ricky, I said, listen, man, you play this conference, you going. He said, you sure? I said, you going.
Yeah.
He didn't head out. I was kind of tight. And we had, last but not least, Christian Morris.
Okay.
Yeah, big Chris Morris.
I remember Christian Morris. He was a big man,
Yeah.
6'9", 6'10".
I used to call him Suge Knight. He used to have everybody shook. Like,
Right.
oh, this big
Right.
kid, he's ready.
Right. Long track record with the bigs at Norfolk State, and I hope it does continue, man. I would like to see more New York guards going there. Like, I'm not. I think they offered Majesty Johnson, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if they did, but
I don't know. I could find out, but I know we offered Kaheem Brown from Lincoln.
okay, yeah, Kaheem, he's another killer.
Kaheem is tough. You know, the one thing I can tell you, and we could go further into this interview. I used to work for NY Hoops, NYHoops.com back in the day.
Right.
So just watching guys like Kaheem Brown as in middle school and just watching him develop was huge. And just finding out, you know, that he's being offered by my alma mater is pretty good. I'm just hoping, you know, that he takes the time and think about playing in the BIAC. The BIAC is not a bad conference. I mean, and the BIAC is one of the toughest conferences in the country. It's just that stigma. You're an HBCU. That's it, for real.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you gotta move past that stigma. And I think that in many cases, you know, the HBCUs, if they really want you, you should just give it a try. You know what I'm saying? See how that experience is like. You know, shout out to R.J. Cole, who went to Howard. You know,
transferred.
He transferred from Howard, went to UConn, but the fact that, you know, he decided to choose that school, and he was killing. He was killing at Howard.
Yeah, Howard. Yeah, he was. I think he was rookie of the year in the conference. But Howard always have like the tough guard. Like Howard had a kid named James Daniel, who used to put that thing up. And we could even go like further back. You know, like when I was a matriculating student at Norfolk State, there was a kid named Tywon McKee.
Okay.
He was from, I believe he was from Philly. He used to get the job done. I'm talking about, I watched him win the conference. I watched him win the conference tournament by himself. I watched him win 4 games in a row by himself. He's putting the ball in the bucket at ease.
Right.
At ease.
Right.
You know, but our conference is very guard heavy. A bunch of wings. A bunch of great coaches. You know, it's just that we're just an HBCU, and people think that, you know, playing at an HBCU won't get you to go pro.
Right.
Kyle O'Quinn.
Oh,
10-year pro. You really can't say much.
Right.
Yeah?
Right. And there's definitely gonna be more to come. I think Robert Covington is an HBCU guy too.
Yeah. The thing about him was he played in the Ohio Valley Conference. So his conference wasn't HBCU heavy. He just attended as the HBCU. But I'm a fan of Robert Covington. Big forward who can shoot the 3 ball and plays great defense.
Right. That's for real. Yeah, I definitely think that the future is better for HBCUs. I know Chad Vennon's going to Morgan State.
Yes.
Blackman. That's going to be good. I'd like to see how that turns out for him. That's going to be well for him. Shout to his mom, Simone. So switching gears now. So how did you become the assistant coach at BMCC? Like, how did that come about?
So this is what happened. My man Ben Newberg, he was the women's coach back then at BMCC. He had me fill in for him to work a Scout Focus camp. Scout Focus, you know, is one of the national camps that travel from city to city.
Yeah.
And the camp was in Brewster, New York. So I took the Metro North from Grand Central all the way to Brewster. Then I get there and they have me working with girls. And my name was just getting a buzz. Like, oh, this Coach Randy guy, you know, what school he coaches with. I was coaching 5th grade with Brooklyn Bridge at the time. So a man named Tom Fabian was like, listen, man, you know, I just took a job at Washington Academy. I'm one of the assistants at BMCC. I can get you in. I'm like, all right, Tom. I gave him my resume and my contact information. Tommy Guerin called me that next week. And I've been working with Tommy Guerin ever since. You know, like Tommy Guerin, he caught me in in a time of my life where I was trying to figure it out, and it was tough. You know, he kind of practically saved my life in a sense. You know, he kept me around the game and he just kept me focused.
Right.
So I've been there ever since then. I took a year off actually. I went to go coach at Redemption Christian
Okay.
in Massachusetts for a year, and I came back to back champs. You know.
Right. Right. That's tough. I mean, great journey ahead. So, what is it like working with a guy like Tommy Urine? I'm hoping to have him on the show in the future. So, like, what is it like working with him?
Tommy is one of the best guys in the business. He's very well respected in the region. But the thing I love about him is that he's himself. He's
Right.
not going to change on you. He's a straight shooter. You know, like he wants to make sure that you're comfortable around him and that you're happy around him.
Right.
But the one thing I can always say about Tommy is if you got his back, he got your back 1,000%.
Right.
He doesn't look at us as just his coaching staff. He look at us as his brothers.
Right.
You know, like he'll have you come to family events to meet his mom and uncles and his cousins. I went to his wedding, you know.
Okay.
So ever since day one, it became like a real strong brotherhood, man. You know, like me and him, we think it's thieves. We speak at least 12 times a week. Text message, phone call,
Right.
FaceTime. Him and I will always interacting. And it's not just about basketball, it's about life too.
Right. I mean, it's good to like work for a coach like that you can connect with on a personal level as well. And that's how all the chemistry goes. So, so I remember you was on BG's Live and you was talking about your experience at BMCC. You were saying that you work at a D3 Juco, but many of your players in the past and present have been getting looks from Division I schools.
Yeah.
So let's elaborate more on that because I definitely believe that.
So it was the 1 year we had one of the best backcourts in the country. We had Terrell Fullerton and Karan Dublin.
Right.
And we had a kid named Alex Humphreys, and we had a kid named Victor Kananovich, something and around that nature. And we had a kid named Sean Adams.
Right.
And we were beating teams by 20 and 30, so that buzz kept getting there. So we played the number one team in the country, Brookdale Community College, and they were beating everybody by 30, smacking everybody.
Right.
When they seen us and they came in our gym, they was like, wow, this is not your typical Division III Juco program, you know?
Right.
Because our standards always will be we always going to recruit above our level.
Right.
In a sense, recruit above the level to see if kids really want to come, and Karan and Victor were guys who really set the precedent for us. And I can't forget about my first year there. We had a kid named Anthony McLean. He went on to Brooklyn College.
Okay.
A kid from the Bronx. I think he got the best spin move in the country, and I always tease him. Jason Mejia. He played for me. We had a kid named Jericho Charisma. He went on to Bluefield College. So a lot of our guys, they get the offers and they get the looks because they're buying in. They're buying in. And our region is tough. Like you play against Marquis and at Hostos on a Thursday night.
Right.
Then you got to travel to Suffolk to play against those guys. And then you got to turn around and play against a kid at Queensboro, with their coaching staff. That's what Coach Carl, he does an amazing job with them. And Carl got 7 kids who average 11 points a night. So it's one of the things where it's like,
you
got to be tough mentally and physically.
Right. Right. So let's focus on guys like Anthony McLean and Karan Dublin because I saw that CUNY Conference Championship last year when y'all beat Hostos and Karan Dublin was going off. And then Anthony McLean heard a lot about him at Brooklyn College, straight up killing, crazy offensive
man. He's a pest.
So like how is it like coaching guys like Karan Dublin and Anthony McLean?
All right, I'm gonna start with Karan. Karan was a kid who never wanted to leave the gym. Karan was the type of kid, he's waking up early, he's going to work out with Tip. Then he's going to class. And then after class, he's He's not in the gym, but he's around the gym. So
Right.
so soon as the gym opened, he's in the gym.
Right.
And Karan always loved to challenge him. You know, I used to do this thing with him, like, yo, I don't see you making 15 out of 20 shots. He
Right.
was like, I got you. And there'll be sometimes he'll make 14 for 20, 14 for 20. And then in games, he'll go 14 for 20, you know? Because the thing is that he knew how he wanted to score the ball. Now, Anthony McLean, he made my transition to college basketball so easy. He's just a tough kid, man. He's tough. He plays hard. He has a chip on his shoulder because he's a midget, as he feels like. It's just one of the things, man. Just interact with him off the court because he's a very, very educated and smart dude, yo. I will always call him one of my favorite players because the simple fact is that he was there, you know, like that first year, it was a struggle for me trying to figure it out at times. He, as I guided him, he guided me.
Right.
So it was dope. That's the deal with him.
Right. Well, let's talk about the academic benefits of going to a JUCO. Now, one of the things about JUCOs colleges is that, you know, it was always encouraged by certain people to go there because, you know, you could take your gen ed classes and then go
Right.
into your 4 year and have no loans. I think with many of these players who wound up going to JUCO, no matter the level, Division 1, 2, or 3, they go to these schools there, and some of them they go there because they don't have the grades. But you know, I've heard some stories from people that like they go there and they find a program that they like, and it becomes lucrative because like you go there, you're not paying much, probably getting your you know your little financial aid. If you're going to New York,
Right.
you get your TAP and your Pell, that's paying it off while you're playing basketball, and you find a program that you like, and that kind of encourage some of these players to you know continue that program or that major into their 4 year when they get into a good school and they get a scholarship to that 4 year program. So, you know,
Right.
for
One of the academic benefits of going to a JUCO is that you can obtain up to 60 credits and that are transferable that can go to a 4 year institution.
right,
Another thing is this, or what people have to understand is that JUCO is not a situation for kids with bad grades. We
right,
had a kid one year by the name of George Keener. George Keener, he went on to play at the college. He's a 1,000-point scorer in his career. George left high school with almost like a 90 average.
right, yeah.
So it's one of the things where is that some kids use JUCO as the 2 years to get better academically, or some use that 2 years to get better on the floor.
Right.
And that's what people have to really understand is that JUCO is not a place for you to have bad grades. Oh yeah, son had to go JUCO because his grades is bad. No, how about he had to go JUCO because probably he had a learning disability and he needed some extra help? Or how about that kid, he needed that 2 year institution to mature,
Right.
to figure things out, you know, not only as a basketball player but as a person. So
Right.
it has its great benefits, it has amazing benefits.
Right. I'm glad you mentioned some of that because I think that there's a lot to this thing with you know JUCO and academics. I've seen stories of kids who were like National Honor Society, you know what I'm saying, and then they chose to go to a good JUCO, because you know there's probably a school that they didn't even know yet. You know, they need that time to go to a JUCO, you know, improve themselves academically, even though they had the good grades to go to many schools, or you know, get better athletically. And you know, it always pays off, so it never should be looked down on.
Right.
Yeah, it's like I think that's one thing people need to look deeper into when it comes to JUCOs.
Right. Yeah, and junior college basketball is not for the weak-hearted,
Right.
and a lot of these kids are weak, not just physically but in the mental sense.
Right.
Because it's like this, yo. A lot of kids go prep and they end up going JUCO anyway. So what's the purpose of you going prep anyway? So you trying to tell me you're going to pay between $6,000 to $8,000 to play 40 games at a PG at a post grad?
Right.
Then you're going to turn around and go JUCO? If you knew you didn't have the grades and you thought you was going to pick up these Division 1 offers or these D2 offers that you shut upon, bro, you could get the same offers going JUCO. It's the same thing.
Right.
It's just that you're just taking that year off.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right. And
that's for sure.
choose the best one. I think that I've seen situations where, kids, they have an offer, or there's a school that's like very interested in them at the point, but maybe they take that year off and do the post grad, and then they wind up committing to that school anyway. There's definitely situations like that. There's a lot of scenarios that go into it. So I know that for sure.
Trust me, there's a ton of them. But at the end of the day, it's like this. It's like only what the issue is, bro. A lot of excuses are made.
Right.
So example, like a lot of the top tier talent, they can go from prep to JUCO and no one is not saying anything.
Right.
Everything is swept under the rug. But if it's a kid who nobody really know about, that's dumb. Why is he going to play PG when he could have just went JUCO? But I'm not saying nothing about this kid who's in the top 100 who went prep and who went JUCO.
Right.
And this prep to JUCO pipeline, it's not a great thing, but it's not a bad thing. As you said, it's on circumstance. But the issue is this: with a lot of these fake prep schools, you don't hear their kids going straight to 4-year institutions.
Right.
Like I'm gonna say this on this interview. I got a text message from a coach saying, "Yeah, I got kids who are playing in my PG program who got bad grades, so they have to go JUCO." So basically, you taking these kids' money. Think about it.
Yeah, that's not a good look. I mean,
that's not a good look.
Not a good look. Not a good look, because that's kind of like wasting that's kind of wasting a year in a way.
It is wasting a year, man. And I'm not highly disappointed, but I'm just like, you sent me that text to make it seem like, why? So you just as a person is like, you know what? I'm gonna have these kids play for me, even though their grades are bad.
Yeah,
they could go JUCO and they could get that fixed.
Right. I think in a way, I think that, personally, I feel, and I know you may agree, like, if you're gonna have a program like that, at least have some type of academic program that can help these kids improve academically. Like, what if a kid, was only missing like a core course or two, have something like those core courses that can improve. I mean, online learning is big right now with this current pandemic.
It's been used. It's been used by these prep schools forever.
Right.
And my OG, that's the other day was like, what is the preparatory school really for? Is it to prep you for college, or is it to prep you to play basketball?
Right.
That's crazy that, him and I, like, we actually had a 20-minute conversation about it, because since I coached at the prep school level, you really get to see, like, some of these kids who go prep, they need it for the whole resources of learning how to be a collegiate student.
Right.
But then there's some kids who needed just the hoop. It's two folks.
Right. Definitely. So, one question, like, what is the next step for Coach Randy Millard? Can we see head coach Randy Millard at the college level one day, or is it possible?
Of course, I would love to be a head coach at an institution. I would venture, even the coach on the women's side. It doesn't really, phase me. Hoop is hoop. Basketball is basketball.
Right.
Another interest of mine is I would love to become an athletic director at the high school level.
Okay.
So I could prep my kids to be ready for that collegiate level. And then lastly, if this basketball thing don't work out, man, I'll just be a beard model, lose some weight,
Same here,
and just do a bunch of beard ads, That's what I do for real.
Right. Okay. So, who was the toughest player you coached against? Like, I know you and Tommy and the rest of the staff at BMCC, y'all have seen some tough players. But if there's like a player or two you can name that, like, they gave your team the fits, but you always had a plan for them, and it was always a battle going up against that player on the opposing team, who would that be?
I can name three for you.
Okay.
All right. The first one had to be Jamal Smith, Morley,
Yes.
Cardinal Hayes guard who played
Yep.
at Hostos. I hated him. And that's my OG son. Like his father
Right.
and I are very cool. Like we're
Yeah.
close. But
Shout out
on
to
the floor, I just hated him because he just knew that he could get his way whenever he wanted and just how he wanted.
right.
It was a tough cover just watching that kid. Another conference kid that I love to death, and he was in our building, Ty Rucker.
Ty Rucker, South Bronx Prep.
And the reason why I could say Ty Rucker because his motor, he don't stop. Pew, 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 pew,
Right.
pew. Layup, three. And you like, bro, how many shots he took? 22. How many shots he made? 18. This kid, he get it done. Now, on the AAU level, because I used to coach with New York Metro Hawks.
Okay.
But that's when EYBL first started. I was coaching 15s and 16s.
I remember Metro Hawks.
We coached against a young man named Andrew Wiggins, CIA bounce.
Oh man.
Jesus Christ. That's what I knew basketball was just like here. It was just at a high level,
Right.
man. And he was just a cool dude after the game. You know, like he was talking to the coaching staff. You know, like he just was excited. He just was like, yo, man, like you guys compete. And now he played for the Golden State Warriors.
Right.
You know, so
That's that. I know it must have been, crazy seeing him at that young because he was just going over, he just killing everybody. You know what I'm saying? 6'6". He's probably 6'8" now. Wing Canadian player. I mean, who just like went down. But Ty Rucker. I mean, you're like the second coach on this show that basically said that he was a tough cover and he's gonna be taking his talent.
So who said it first?
Marquis.
Yo, but I'm gonna tell you what he did to Marquis and them. Yo, Marquis. Yo, listen, Marquis is my guy. Like, listen, we have real conversations if you know what I mean, right?
Right.
He's like, yo, coach. I'm watering down the conversation. He said, yo, coach, yeah, 40 something on us. I'm like, how? He said, he just don't stop. I'm like, bro, he does not stop. He doesn't. Ty Rucker doesn't stop. But Ty Rucker, his only knack, in my opinion, sometimes is he doesn't really guard at times, like Ty, he's just very, very deceptive and quick, man. But I love his game, yo. Right. And he was a BMCC Panther, and he was thinking about joining our program.
Okay.
He's actually taking courses at our school, too, so.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. He's headed to Benedict in the fall.
Yeah, I'm happy for him, man. I'm very happy for him.
Yeah. That's a good look. I mean, wish the best for Ty Rucker. This has been a great interview thus far.
Yeah.
So you learned a lot about your program, and hoping to have Tommy on our show in the near future.
Of course, I will have to talk to him about that. Tommy's camera shy.
Okay.
So it's me here. I'm the recruiting coordinator for the program.
Okay.
So I'm the guy who the kids have to interact with a lot. Just to see where they're at mentally.
Right.
Not just basketball wise. Like mental health is real. So
right.
That's one approach I always take. How are you? How are things going?
Right.
Because a kid told me, I could say his name. Kid was like, yo, I'm tired of these coaches talking to me on this phone about basketball. You the only coach who say, yo, how's everything? How's life?
Right. Social emotional check.
Yeah, all the time.
See where they are social emotionally. All right. Right. So Randy, just thank you again for this interview. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man, thank you, man.
It's been a great episode.
I love your stuff. I love Dave's stuff.
Yep.
I like Calvin's stuff.
Yeah.
And especially, all the OGs in this business. Like Maurice Wingate. I don't know how old he is, but he's probably like in his 90s, basketball wise. Rob White from NYHoops.com. Ravi Rozier from nyhoops.net. He works with Wingate as well.
Right.
And my man Matt Liebert, Stacy, of course, Shay Days. You know,
Yeah.
I just respect everybody's platform.
Right.
Hoop Locker's coming up. You know, that's with Coach Terry and Coach Justin.
Okay, I've seen it. I've seen some of these stuff before. Some of these lives, they got good stuff. Hoop Locker, shout out to them.
Yeah.
Shout out to Davis too. He got his show. His show's pretty good. Hoops Talk with Davis joint. I just watched the recent episode with CJ Riley. So
Dave is funny too, man. Like, you know, like I remember when Dave first started. I remember you first started too. You know, like I always had to tell people like, yo, I was once them. Because I remember working with nyhoops.com, working for pennies on a dollar.
right.
You know, but you just get to travel to different tournaments throughout the day.
Right.
But like I remember one time I got to see Corey Fisher, you know, in Jersey. And I thought he was one of the best players in the country.
Right.
Another player who in my opinion could have been a guy who could have made a ton of money was Shaquille Davis from Lincoln. You know, I've been around basketball a lot. You know, I've coached Terrence Samuel, Shamik Shepard,
right,
and Wayne Martin. Then I went over, you know, to go to Metro Hawks. We had Joel Hernandez, Tavon Myers, Wesley Myers, Travis Flagg. What else we had back then? There was a story about Chris McCullough I could share with you off camera, which is kind of funny and cool.
okay.
It was just I've been around just a bunch of players, bro. You know, and the players they just love the fact that I'm just me.
Right.
You know, I don't try to talk down to them or talk at them. I talk with them. And even at BMCC, the one thing I'm great at is managing attitudes on the bench.
Right.
You know, just managing guys' emotions. You know, guys get mad. Tommy be like, yo, Coach Randy, talk to him, please.
Right.
Coach, talk to him, please. You know, and I just got the words of like, yo, like, what's up? Elvis from Wills. I love him to death.
Right.
I'm always talking to Elvis. I'm always talking to Elvis. No, we got a kid named Malik Bintic.
Okay.
Going to be pretty good. He went to Thomas Edison. Our incoming class is going to be somewhat very good as well.
Okay.
So I got you for sure, like a shirt or something. You know, that's when the gear comes in.
All right. Cool. Well, you know, thanks for these gems. A lot of gems will drop today, and thank you for this interview. You know, I just need you to stick around after the recording to talk about the next steps, but just thank you for coming on today. So for Jaquan Bowden, Coach Randy Millard at BMCC.
Yes, thank you so much, man.
Check out our next episode coming soon. This Food Dreams NYC, that Juco Life. We out.